And here I wasn't ready. I didn't have the microphone in place, ladies and gentlemen. I was all excited, had all my ducks in a row, but not all my ducks in a row. So now we're ready for Twice Dead Decoded, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Twice Dead Decoded, one of the enigmatic scriptures that's in the Bible. What the world does it mean to be twice dead? We're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to let you know what that is all about and give you a thoroughly biblical explanation of it. I think you'll enjoy it, and I know it'll make a difference in your life. And some of you, it will actually change your life. And I'm wearing my brand new Mystech Sun bracelet, and I'm wearing my new Mystech 5G mastery bracelet. Go to mystech.com and Jeffrey Daugherty, go to jeffreydaugherty.com, click on the Mystech logo or the Mystech tab, and you get 20% off. They'll put you at the original Schumann resonance of the planet, put your cells in harmony rather than chaos, and it just completely changes your life. So make sure that you do that. Twice Dead, ladies and gentlemen. It's in the book of Jude. We'll read it. We'll talk about it. What does it mean, twice dead? We're going to decode it for you here tonight on The Christian Whistleblower. Friday night, we're going to be hearing from young Pharaoh. I'm looking forward to that excursion into podcast excellence. But for now, let's jump right in to our stuff. What do you say? And let's go into Twice Dead Decoded. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, and it's going to be some very, very interesting stuff. Like I told you, it's in Jude 1:12, but the full explanation of the verse, you have to plug it in with Romans 8:11. And again, Jeff, you say the Bible's not true, but you always are quoting from it. Well, you have to listen to everything that I say, because what I say is that the Bible is written by the Romans to trick us and to keep us locked in a fear and guilt, blood magic control matrix. And part of doing that entails weaving in truth that we are not to see because it's in the midst of such deception. And also, natural law declares and requires that they do tell us how to beat them, tell us what they're doing so they can have plausible deniability and say, look, we told these people. So we're going to read these scriptures and we're going to read them together, and we're going to get to the place where we can understand exactly what's going on here. And I think that you're going to have some revelation on this. I really do. I think you're going to have some revelation. So let's go ahead then, and we're going to look at the scriptures themselves right now. We're going to go into the Chrome tab, and we're going to look at the book of Jude right now. And this is our base verse that we're looking at. And really, it's some base words, and they're right here as you can see them. Twice dead, plucked up by the roots. What does twice dead, plucked up by the roots mean? Well, let's look at this verse in a little bit more detail. I think that will help you. And we're going to do like we always do, and we'll go straight to the Bible itself. We're going to look at the original text, and we're going to use this tool called Bible Hub to do it. What does it mean to be twice dead, ladies and gentlemen? I hate the way they do this. I really do. What does it mean to be twice dead? Not a big fan of what they're doing here, but we'll make it work. What's it mean to be twice dead? So we're going to verse number 12. And these people, they're killing me. They're just killing me. We'll just have to go to the interlinear. All right. So what does it mean to be twice dead? Let's look at this. Twice having died, having been uprooted. What does twice mean, first of all? Well, let's look at what does died mean. What does it mean to be dead? Well, the Greek means that you have withered, you've decayed, and look at this, you have died off, you have died away from, you've been separated. You've died off, you've died away from, you've been separated. And what does it mean to have done it twice? Well, it means to be entirely and utterly undone, to entirely and utterly having been taken away, to entirely and utterly be withering, entirely and utterly decaying, entirely and utterly being cut off, entirely and utterly being separated. And it's a separation from divine essence and divine nature. So what we're talking about is having died twice. And that means really completely, totally, 100% cut off from your divine essence, being uprooted, plucked up by your very roots, uprooted. What you were, who you were, where you were, what was yours, what was your natural native soil, you've been pulled out of it. You are completely, totally, and utterly without life, cut off from what is really your destiny. That's what the word means. Those words mean in that book of Jude when we're talking about twice dead. I don't care what other stuff you've heard. It's not true. It's not right, because we just showed you it from the very scriptures themselves. So as we go back into our PowerPoint, we can understand a little bit more and we can break it down a little bit more. So twice dead, plucked up by the roots. We know what that means now. It means that you're thoroughly, utterly, completely dead, cut off, and pulled out of what is your native soil, your native state. So to really understand this, we need to go back into the book of Romans, and we'll do that in a little bit. I think we do it. Yeah, we do it page by page like this. So you're dying off from, you're separated. What are you dying off from? What are you separated from? Entirely and utterly. What have you entirely and utterly died from? What are you entirely and utterly separated from? You're plucked up by the roots. You're taken out of what is natively yours. What does this mean? Well, you can find a lot of people on a lot of YouTube channels who are more than happy to tell you what this means, but they're not going to tell you what it means by using this little thing called context. If you're within a document and you're trying to understand the definition of a word within a document, the safest, most prudent, most scholarly course of action is to look other places in that same document and see if you can find what that document is talking about. And if we do that by going to Romans 8:11, we will be successful. If the spirit of him that raised Jesus up from the dead dwells in you, he shall also quicken your mortal bodies by his spirit that dwells in you. Now, you know what we're going to do? We need to go back to the actual scripture itself again, ladies and gentlemen, and get into the scripture itself and do what we got to do. So we're going to go to Romans chapter 8, verse 11. I'm loving this new program right now. I'm not a big fan of Bible Hub, though, right at this minute. They're making it hard for me. It's a wonky particular program. Well, this helps a little bit. It's a wonky particular program sometimes, and I can't get it to do really what I want it to do. So it's bugging me just a little bit, but we'll work with it. We'll work with it, and we'll make it work. Maybe it's user error. I don't know, but here we go. So Romans 8:11. And if the spirit of him who raised Jesus from the dead lives in you, he who raised Jesus from the dead will also give life to your mortal bodies. Let's look at what give life means. Giving life means, oh, this is so hard to do. Giving life means to make alive, to reanimate, to bring life to that which was dead, to reanimate. It's like, he's alive. It's Frankenstein stuff, ladies and gentlemen. It's reanimating, quickening, vivifying, animating. Oh, you thought I was making it up. No, it's to reanimate, to cause what is dead to have life, to cause what is dead to have life, ladies and gentlemen. So he who raised Christ from the dead is going to bring life To what? Your mortal. Oh, crap. Some of you are getting it. He's going to bring life to your mortal body. What is your mortal body? That part of you that's subject to death. Ooh. It's not the immortal you that's being brought to life. It's the mortal you. Oh, crap. Wait a minute. Go back to that again. What does it say? Well, what it says is that if the spirit of him who raised Jesus from the dead lives in you, he who raised Jesus from the dead will also give life to your mortal body, your decaying body that is this physicality. That's what he's going to give life to through his spirit that dwells in you. Ooh, that doesn't sound totally groovy, does it, ladies and gentlemen? That sounds a little bit ominous. That sounds like we didn't get the whole story, because you know what? You didn't. You didn't get the whole story. You're dying off. You're separating entirely and utterly. You're plucked up by the roots from what? What does this mean? What is the context? That if the spirit of him that raised up Jesus from the dead dwells in you, he will then quicken, make alive, reanimate your mortal body, the part of you that's subject to death, by the spirit that dwells in you. That part of you which is subject to death will be made alive again. And notice, ladies and gentlemen, it's plural. It's bodies. Why? Because if you die once, he resurrects your mortal body. If you die again, he resurrects that mortal body, and then the next mortal body, and the next mortal body, and the next mortal body. So he is resurrecting, reanimating this him that raised Jesus. How did his spirit get in you? We'll look at that. But this him that raised Jesus is reanimating your bodies, your subject to death mortal bodies. You have died off. You've been utterly separated from your life, your eternal life, your true self, your divinity, your sovereignty, your freedom. You've been plucked up by those roots, the roots of your divinity, the roots of your sovereignty, the roots of your freedom. You have forfeited it all. You've died off. You've been utterly separated. From what? From what was natively yours, your life. Whoops. Your life, ladies and gentlemen. You've been plucked up by the roots of your divinity. How did this happen? Well, it had to happen when the spirit of him that raised Jesus from the dead came to dwell in you. Because it's his mortal, it's his presence that empowers him to reanimate your mortal body, that part of you which is subject to death. And he does it over and over again. That's why he says bodies. But the question is, he's got to be in to do it. How'd he get in? You know how he got in? He got in when you invited him in. And I want you to notice that this is in red letters. For all you red letter disciples out there, for all you red letter Christians, for all you people that are only red, I'm just the red letters only. This is what the red letters will get you. And the red letters will get you. This is what they get you. If anyone loves me, when did he get into you to be able to resurrect only your mortal, rotting, decaying body? If anyone loves me, you know why these letters are red? Because they were spoken by Jesus. Sweet, wonderful Jesus. You're about to see how sweet Jesus really is. You're about to see how wonderful Jesus really is. You're about to see how good your Lord and Savior is, honey. If anyone loves me, my Father will love him, and we will come to him and make our home in him. Ruh-roh, you love Jesus. I love Jesus. You give him your soul. I give my soul to you, Jesus. That's where you died off. That's where you were utterly separated from your life essence, because you gave your soul not even to rock and roll. You gave your soul to get your foot on the rock and your name on the roll, the Jesus train. You gave it to Jesus. You gave him your soul. And this is where you died off and were utterly separated from your life essence. And then after you say you love Jesus, after you give Jesus your soul, after you ask him to cover you with his blood, then you invite Jesus and the Father. Well, Jeff, they were standing at the door and knocking. Yeah, well, so does Dracula. They were standing at the door and knocking, so you invited Jesus and the Father into your heart. You invited Jesus into your heart. You invited the Father into your heart, and they came in and they made their home in you. You invited not one spiritual entity, but two into your life, into your heart, into your soul. And the word that you're supposed to know says that they can bring 7 more worse than them with them. So now you got 16 of them that you invited in. That's when he who raised Jesus from the dead enters you. And now from that point, he begins to reanimate your mortal body over and over and over. This farting, burping, shitting, bleeding, diarrhea-ing, getting cancer, getting sick, getting disease, rotting, dying, wrinkling hunk of meat. That's what he reanimates over and over and over. That's what you gave, you allowed yourself to be plucked up for. That's what you gave your divinity and your sovereignty and your freedom for. The right to come back and to be raised over and over again in your mortal body. Don't you get mad at me. I'm reading to you from the text. This is what the text says. And the text doesn't care what your favorite YouTube preacher thinks. The text doesn't care what your mama thinks. The text doesn't care what your grandmama thinks. And the text don't give a damn what you think. The text is the text. And now he starts to reanimate your mortal bodies over and over and over. And now you're utterly separated from your life essence. Now you're plucked up by your roots. Now you're twice dead, 3 times dead, 4 times dead. That's why it's mortal bodies. That's why it's mortal bodies, ladies and gentlemen. Pregnant pause to allow you to recover your equilibrium maybe just a little bit. And I think that we need to just really quickly go back over this in a quick review, because that was a lot of heavy revy, and I want to make sure that you get it. So we're just going to take another quick look at it, ladies and gentlemen. And then we'll go into the chat room. We'll ask your questions, and we'll let you insult me, and then we'll call it a night. Okay. So let's look at it one more time from the top, very briefly. Twice dead, decoded. What does it mean to be twice dead? Well, it's these 2 verses. Jude says you're twice dead. You're plucked up by the roots. Romans says if the spirit of him that raised Jesus from the dead dwells in you, he'll quicken your mortal bodies by the spirit that dwells in you. What Jude is saying, you will be dying off, you'll be away from, you'll be separated entirely and utterly, plucked up by the roots of who and what you really are because the spirit of him that raised Jesus from the dead is dwelling in you, and you've given him the right to quicken to reanimate your mortal body, that part of you which is subject to death, over and over again. It's bodies, because he does it over and over again. You died off. You're utterly separated from life, your true spiritual self, for eternity, plucked up by your roots. You forfeited it all. When the spirit of him that raised Jesus from the dead came into you, you allowed his presence in. You empowered him to reanimate your burping, farting, rotten, bleeding, dying body, which is subject to death, over and over again. You invited them in. When you were a red letter disciple and they were knocking at the door and you said, Jesus, come in, Father, come in, you gave them your soul. That's when you died. That's when you were plucked up. You invited Jesus and the Father in. So the guy that is going to reanimate your mortal bodies over and over again, the Spirit is in you. And now it's done. You're finished. It's over. And you are twice dead. 3 times dead, 4 times dead, 5 times dead, 6 times dead, 222 times dead. And that is exactly how Rome meant to leave you. And to Rome, it's freaking hilarious. And they call it born again. Oh, you want to be born again. Oh, be born again. I want Billy Graham born again. I want to be born again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Can you see the Romans who wrote this laughing? Not only did they succeed in making you think that little baby Jesus in his golden fleecy diapers grew up to be a big baby Jesus who saved you. And they got you to believe that if you just say a little prayer and ask somebody to cover you with their blood and do some hocus pocus and ask 2 spirits to possess you, that everything was going to be all right. When we all know that's black magic. We all know that's blood magic. They were laughing because you bought it hook, line, and sinker. You're praising Jesus. You're singing songs about the blood. There's a fountain filled with blood that flows from Emmanuel's veins, and sinners that plunge beneath the blood lose all their guilty stains because there's power, wonder-working power in the precious blood of the Lamb. And I'm going to be born again. I'm going to be raised again. And you're burping, farting, shitting, diarrhea-ing, rotten, diseased. How many of you like the body you're in right now? Get used to it, because it's going to happen over and over and over. You're going to be born again. You're going to be raised to life, but you've forfeited your immortal spiritual life for the right to come back again and again and again in your dirty, rotten, stinking meat suits. And not only did the Romans convince you to love this, not only did they convince you to fight for this, not only did they convince you and get you into Stockholm Syndrome that this was the greatest thing that ever happened, now they get to point it out to you. Now they get to show you how stupid you are and laugh their asses off at you again because you were dumb enough to buy their lies. You're dumb enough to worship Titus. You're dumb enough to worship Vespasian. You're dumb enough to worship Domitian. You're dumb enough to worship all of their representatives, because it's Jesus. The Jesus you worship is the placeholder for the Roman leaders. And I don't know who the Roman leader is now, but I know you're worshiping him if you're still involved in Christianity. They laughed at you when you bought it. They're laughing at you as they rub it in your face, and they're laughing at you as you realize that you've been had and they tricked you really, really good. Those Roman bastards. So what do? I recommend you cancel your deal. But most of you will, no, Jeff is a jerk. Jeff's an antichrist. Jeff is an atheist. Jeff is so stupid. That's what most of you will do. But some of you will say, damn, he's right. I've been screwed. How do I cancel it? How did you get the deal? You verbally invited him into your heart, didn't you? Well, verbally uninvite him. It's just that simple. Verbally uninvite him. Cancel the deal. Cancel what you willingly signed up for like a great big dummy. Just cancel it. Say it's over. I renege it. I don't want that deal anymore. I'm done with that deal. That's all you have to do, ladies and gentlemen. It really is just that simple. It really is just that easy. It is so simple. It is so easy for you to get yourself out of this mess that you got yourself into. It's almost as simple and almost as easy as making your physical optimization a reality and curing yourself of inflammation, increasing the circulation and oxygenation in your blood, promoting faster healing, relieving pain, improving mobility, because you can do this on a cellular level, ladies and gentlemen, by the use of this great new product that my friend Glenn Streeter has turned us on to, the True Pulse A2000. You can go to energymedfit.com. Let me put that up here on the screen for you. You can go to energymedfit.com, or in a great show of integrity that I haven't seen in a long, long time, you can contact Glenn Streeter personally on his cell phone. You can text him, you can call him, and he will give you all the information that you need, ladies and gentlemen, on this great product that will change your life. There's no doubt about it. And it's powerful. It's amazing. And I wanted you to know about it. And it's just that simple, and it's just that easy to undo the mess that you got yourself into spiritually as well. I probably shouldn't do it, but I'm going to. Let's go into the chat room, ladies and gentlemen, and let's see what we got going on. Julie loves The Walking Dead. Well, The Walking Dead, watching it is one thing. Living it is not the real good thing. Yeah, Tracy says, yep, big surprise. I bet you weren't, plot twist. Yeah, you weren't looking for that one, were you, ladies and gentlemen? Entities, parasites, mortal back to life, not groovy. It's zombie time, says Nancy, and that's true. Wow. Cynthia asked the $1 million question. How did we not see this? How did we not see this? Here's a great question. Who's dwelling in Jesus? Well, of course, the answer is nobody, because Jesus isn't real. Wow. 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 Yeah, the Father. When someone tells you they're getting messages from the Father, that's the time to stop listening. Unless you want this deal. And I don't think you really do, because they are bloody words. They are bloody words. And what else do we got going on here? We got some smart people in here. I know we've got some. Oh, and you didn't even get paid for your soul like entertainers. What a bad business deal you made. I mean, even Dracula makes you good looking. You can you can buy locate, and you get all of the chicks. Dracula offers a better deal, right on time, David Wayne. Dracula offers a better deal than Jesus. But you took the Jesus deal. Vampires can't enter without permission, and neither can Jesus. Do you think there's a connection there? Vampires can't enter without permission, and neither can the Father. Isn't that interesting? Thank you so much. Isn't that interesting? Guess what? It doesn't work, Nancy. He will still bring you back in your mortal body. And I hate to think what he might be bringing back after a cremation. Ooh, that would be a horrible thought right there, ladies and gentlemen. That will be a horrible thought right there, ladies and gentlemen. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You quit claimed your meat suit. You did. You actually quit claimed your spiritual essence and decided to just live and just kept the deed on your meat suit. If I understand what a quit claim is correctly, I think I do, but still it's interesting. Some people trade their walk for a lead role in a cage. I like the way you put that. I like the way you put that. We're reclaiming our birthrights. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. It is death warmed over. Oh, just amazing stuff. Jesus is the King of the fools. Oh, Scotty Smith, that's powerful. And it's so true. Externally and internally, we are twice dead. Yes, we are. And this is exactly what happens. He eats you and uses you till there's nothing left. And then you do nothing but go back and you're obliterated into nothingness. It's horrible. 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 We all do, Cynthia. We feel bad that we jumped at it, but now we've learned. Now we have learned. We're here to break the cycle. Absolutely. It's exactly what we're here for, to break the cycle. How about the people that get saved every Sunday? Yep, we know those people. Get that con out of my face. And you write that check every week. You're paying with your most precious currency and your green currency. And you do have, Tracy Dyer must have sold some real estate or some timeshare in her day. She's using all the timeshare words. You do have a right of rescission. And you have it as long as you want it. It doesn't ever run out. Nancy canceled her deal. Good for her. Yeah, Tracy asked the same thing. That's funny. She's asking using all the right words. We are divine, we are sovereign, and we are free. Absolutely. Sever the soul ties. Bring your soul back. Cancel it. Simple and easy. It's just that easy. It really is. It really is. Jesus actually used a magic wand as well. He didn't live. Wasn't real, but I get your point. Absolutely. Raising the dead is necromancy. God is a necromancer. The God of the Bible is a necromancer. Wow. What a great chat room we have. What a fascinating chat room we have. Oh, she was in the 21 years in mortgage. Okay. Gotcha. Well, folks, you can't make it any more plain than that. You can't make it any more easy than that. You can't make it any more clear than that. And now you have to decide what you're going to do. You have to decide what you're going to do. You've sold your soul. You've invited entities into you by following the red letters. Congratulations. So maybe you were ignorant, but now it's time to decide. It's okay to be ignorant, but it's not okay to be stupid. And stupid is, okay, I've been shown the truth, but I'm going to keep this shitty deal that I signed. It's up to you. I can't do any more for you than what I've done. I'm here to let you know that you aren't filled with original sin. You've got the spark of divinity within. I'm here to let you know you're divine, you're sovereign, and you're free. What happens if you rescind? That means you kick Jesus out of your heart. You kick the Father out of your heart. You take back your divinity, your sovereignty, your freedom. And guess what? You take back the responsibility for guiding your own spirit, mastering your own ascension, and being your own guru. And if we are honest, isn't that what you're really afraid of? Is taking the responsibility? Well, guess what? Until you take it, you're coming back again. And you'll come back again and again and again to either get it right or you run out of energy to get up again. I hope that does not happen to you. And I'm here doing everything I can to prevent it from happening to you. Go to jeffreydaugherty.com and click on the rocket logo. We're making sex great again. Go to jeffreydaugherty.com and click on the Hero Soap logo. Let Freedom Clean. Get 20% off your soap subscription, and let a U.S. troop that's deployed get the same thing. We've already talked about Energy MedFit. You can call Glenn and find out all that information. And the C60 Purple Power, go to c60purplepower.com. Use the code word TCW, like the Christian Whistleblower 10. You'll get 10% off, and you'll change your life, ladies and gentlemen, guaranteed. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. This has been another one of our live presentations. And the only reason we're here is because we're trying to do all that we can to get you to unindoctrinate yourself. We care about you. We respect you. We know that you're a winner. And we're here to try to point the way forward for you. They say that winners write history. The hell with that. We make history. And we're making a greater today and looking forward to a better tomorrow. We're the last generation of real humans. We can change this world if we'll just get busy. For Cynthia L., I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, and we salute you for being here, seeking after truth.